So there's one buyer per 250 companies. There's a lot less of you guys than there are people trying to sell. It's blindingly obvious that this guy wanted to sell because he had everything ready to sell. It's better to have 3 live deals and close 1 than have 10 deals and not close anything.
Tell us some of the things that you've learned.
One of our saving graces, which is really positive, it was a reasonably profitable business, so don't over-leverage it in the sense of we wouldn't have survived if we'd have been able to raise more finance. We probably would have, but we probably wouldn't have survived everything because the interest rate and bank rates would have killed us. Luckily, we could afford things not quite to work because there was so much meat in the deal after the deferred payments. So it's better to pay, it sounds obvious, but it's better to pay a lower amount over a longer time than a more aggressive amount. There was one thing. We agreed as well on the deferred payments to pay them quarterly. I wish we just did it annually. I entertained it because I got them over on a couple of other things. I wish I just said no. It's better to have 3 live deals and close 1 than have 10 deals and not close anything. I know that sounds, don't get distracted by deal, just do one. When I'm on my initial call and I'm pre-qualifying them and blah, 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 I know exactly how much we can finance-ish. And I wouldn't have done that if I'd have done 100 different sectors because you get different lending and everything. Do you see what I mean?
So just explain that.
You know, you've got your set of questions and a lot of them are what you share, you know, what are your asset, what's your net profit this year, what was your net profit last year, what's your net profit previous 3 years is pretty much where I stop. Then just get stuck straight into the assets. In our sector, it's like, well, how much book debt do you have? Oh, £1 million. So straight away I know, because I know my sector now, I can fund about 45-50% of the book debt. So straight away there's £500,000 that I could, if I wanted to, pay them on day one. I also know it costs about 12% for that finance. So if it's £500,000 at 12%, that's roughly about 60 grand. So all of a sudden, you've got £500,000, let's say it's a £500,000 profit company. I know I've now got £460,000 worth of deferred payments or whatever I can play with. I then get into, well, what are you looking for and why? But I already know roughly what we can give them. So if it's miles away, I flat out say, unless you know, I'm buying a company over here for this much, unless you align your pricing with them, why would I buy yours and not theirs? So it's up to you. What do you want to do? I then ask for all the information. It's obvious they're more motivated than someone going, I don't need to sell, I want the best price, blah, blah, blah. So when I'm chasing for information, I'll call them the next day saying, oh, have you sent me that over yet?
And can I just compare that to when some people say, I don't want to seem desperate, so I left it a couple of weeks and then they didn't answer the phone to me. You know, we know that just doesn't work. You've got to be honest.
You know when someone's motivated or not. You know, the deal we did, the amount of information he sent over was probably too much. And it was done within 3 hours of signing heads. It had all prepared. It's blindingly obvious that this guy wanted to sell because he had everything ready to sell. You know, you get the guys and you're chasing for the 3 weeks. You know, I was chasing one and I called him up and I said, look, I've chased you a couple of times, really busy. We've got so many other companies we're buying. You need to send this to me by this date, otherwise I'm going to move on. I'm not going to take you seriously anymore. You'll soon find out whether they're serious or not.
Buying a business is just so rewarding, and I put together a free training showing you exactly how I do it. If you look in the video description below this video, there is a link. You click the link, you're taken through to the training, watch the training, and I'll show you exactly how to buy a business successfully.
What I'm seeing here is that everyone has to move to your timetable and work to your agenda. Otherwise, you're not interested. You are the most important person in this deal. If it doesn't work for you, who cares? Move on. But it's not dancing to the seller's tune. It's they've got to fit in with you.
Also, on these calls, well, this is how businesses are sold. You get an amount on day one, and you get a portion over a couple of years, and then you just stop. If they go, oh well, I want everything on day one. Sorry, that's not how businesses work. Do you want to carry on or not? How many people have had, they answer the phone, I don't really need to sell. How many people have had that? Like, yeah, I get it all the time. It's my favourite question to be asked. And I said, if I can be really honest with you, and I mean this as nicely as possible, I've got 14 calls after yours with business owners. Half of them have told me they want to sell, and they definitely want to sell in the next 12 weeks. So I only have capacity to do 2. So I'm politely going to end the call now because I only have time to do, and if you don't want to sell, that's fine, completely respect it. Call me when you do. 2 things happen. They go, and great, I've already filtered them out within a minute of the call. Or they go, oh, no, really, we do want to sell, we do. And I say, okay, well, let's get stuck in. One thing I found out during the legal process was there were so many people talking. We had our corporate solicitor talking to their corporate solicitor. We had their junior partners talking. We had our lease solicitor talking to their lease solicitor, so there's 6 solicitors. And then there were 3 sellers, and then there was me and Rob, and then our financial due diligence team to talk. So there's about 15, 20 people all talking, right? And as you can probably imagine, there were periods of times where it would go by, and we were thinking we were waiting for something from them. They were waiting for something from us. So I would advise during the buying process, at least once a week, just call the sellers and just say, just keep that better comms, and we'd have shaved weeks off our buying process.
When buying a business, you need a great lawyer on your team. So why not use mine? His name is John Andrews, and his details are on the screen.
Another thing that really, really helped us, as you can probably imagine, when we were creating the share purchase agreement for the different companies, there was tons of back and forth, and it takes 3 days to get a response, and then 3 more days. Do you know what I mean? One point, it got to I just said, I'm fed up with this. And I basically called them and said, get your solicitors in a room with our solicitors. We'll all sit down. And we had a round table for about 5 hours, and we ironed out probably 6 weeks worth of work in 5 hours. And it was a bit like, do you know what I mean? So don't be afraid to do that. You're already paying for them anyway. You might as well just get them. It's so much easier. We were talking about letters and stuff, and lots of people saying, well, how many letters did you send out? And, good for the people that sent out 100 letters and bought a company. I use this phrase, and it took us 14,432 letters to get lucky with one deal. There was one other thing which I thought I'd share about what you guys are doing, and it's more on the mindset and stuff. This is a stat. So just to give you inspiration about what's possible. When you're speaking to a seller and they go, oh, I'm speaking to a load of other people. Oh, it's a load of rubbish, right? So there's something like 250,000 companies between 500,000 and 10 million turnover have owners over 65 in the UK. 3,000 of them are sold each year, so it's less than 1,000 buyers. So there's one buyer per 250 companies. So I'm saying that as in there's a lot less of you guys than there are people trying to sell. Very few people can deliver on it. 2 biggest things, striking a deal and raising finance. If you can do them 2 things, you'll be absolutely fine.
Let's give Tim some applause. That's fantastic. Thanks very much, Tim.